Asterisk, the heat on the highway felt like it had slid down from the sky and settled on the asphalt. Heavy, scorching, suffocating. Ilya drove his old pickup, listening to the steady hum of the engine. Work, road, home. His life moved calmly, almost too calmly. He had long accepted that nothing could surprise him anymore. Asterisk, until he saw a silver sedan pulled over on the shoulder. And beside it, a girl wiping tears from her face. Asterisk, he slowed down and stopped, turning on the hazard lights. The girl was young, her shoulders tense, her hands trembling. A flat tire was a small problem, but in her eyes, it looked like the end of the world. Asterisk, Ilya repaired it quietly and confidently. The sun burned his back. The bolts squeaked, as if resisting. The girl Amelia tried to speak, to express gratitude, but he only nodded with a calm smile. He refused money. He asked only that she be careful. Asterisk, she handed him a business card, scribbled her number on it, thanked him once again, and drove away, leaving behind a swirl of dust and a strange feeling that something had just begun. Asterisk, at home. His 8-year-old daughter Lisa greeted him on the porch, her hands covered in paint, holding another drawing. In her excited chatter and warm hugs was his entire world. He had become used to the quiet after his wife's passing, used to the solitude that felt almost familiar now. Asterisk, but that night, the phone rang. Asterisk, a calm, confident woman's voice introduced herself as Veronica Lanamlia's mother. A woman the newspapers wrote about, the kind whose interviews played on evening news. Wealthy, influential, and somehow shaken. She insisted on a meeting, her tone firm but not cold, as if this mattered to her personally. Asterisk, Ilya arrived the next day. The mansion was enormous. The lawn looked too perfect. Marble walls made the place feel like a museum. Veronica greeted him politely, but in her eyes, something flickered when she mentioned her daughter. Asterisk, they sat in a vast, immaculate living room, yet their conversation felt surprisingly warm. Veronica confessed she worried about Amelia, that she lived in a world where everything was measured in profit, appearances, and reputation, and that it felt unusual to hear of a man who helped her daughter simply out of kindness. Asterisk, Ilya told her about Lisa, about trying to run his workshop alone, about the fear of not being enough, yet pushing forward every day. Veronica listened, and in her gaze he didn't see the coldness. People spoke of only exhaustion, and a loneliness that mirrored his own. Asterisk, when he stood to leave, she hesitated before saying softly that she'd like to meet Lisa next time. It wasn't a demand. It was almost a request. Asterisk, their meetings became regular. At first formal, then warmer. The girls bonded quickly. Amelia, though older, treated Lisa with a quiet tenderness she herself had lacked growing up. Asterisk, one afternoon in the park, near a small pond, the conversation between Ilya and Veronica became personal for the first time. Veronica admitted she feared being a bad mother, feared being fragile. Ilya confessed he feared losing anyone else he cared about. Their hands brushed and neither pulled away that night. Unable to quiet her thoughts, Veronica arrived at Ilya's home. No makeup, no armor, no polished image, just a woman standing on his porch, unsure of what to do with the feelings she no longer could hide. In the warm kitchen light, between sips of tea, she whispered that she feared ruining everything with her world, her status, her obligations. Asterisk, Ilya studied her carefully. She wasn't the powerful figure everyone imagined. She was simply human. Asterisk, I'm afraid you'll leave, he said quietly. I'm afraid you'll decide you can't handle my world, she replied. Then came the kiss, soft, tentative, as though both were afraid to shatter the fragile moment between them. Asterisk, they fell asleep in each other's arms, waking to the smell of pancakes. Lisa, always an early riser, had covered them with a blanket and was humming in the kitchen. The small dining table felt fuller, warmer, almost whole, and for the first time in years, Ilya felt peace instead of emptiness.